Consciousness. It's the one thing we experience more intimately than anything else, and yet the one thing we understand the least. You can touch your body, measure your heartbeat, scan your brain, but the voice inside your head, the you that observes all of it, remains untouchable, invisible, and undefined. What is consciousness? Is it just neurons firing in patterns? Or is it something deeper, something beyond matter? For centuries, science and philosophy have wrestled with this question. The materialist says, you are your brain. When the brain stops, so do you. But if that's true, who is it that knows the brain exists? Who hears the thoughts before they become words? Who feels joy, pain, or wonder, experiences that no microscope can capture? The paradox of consciousness is that we can't study it without using it. It's the observer observing itself, like a flashlight trying to illuminate its own light. Neuroscientists can measure the activity of the brain, but not the experience of being alive. They can describe how electrical impulses move, but not what it's like to see red, to feel love, or to remember childhood. That gap between matter and mind is called the hard problem of consciousness, and it may be the greatest mystery in existence. But before we jump beyond science, let's pause for a moment, because even within science itself, the mystery deepens. Neuroscience can describe the dance of neurons, but it cannot explain the dancer, the subjective experience that watches the dance unfold. You can map every synapse, record every electrical impulse, and still never find the color red, the feeling of love, or the taste of memory. Consciousness doesn't seem to live in the brain. It uses the brain, like a musician uses an instrument. When the instrument is damaged, the music distorts, but the musician remains. Some thinkers, like panpsychists, believe that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, as intrinsic as space, time, or gravity. That every atom, every photon, contains a faint glimmer of awareness, and complex beings like us are simply the universe becoming aware of itself in high resolution. If that's true, then perhaps the universe didn't give birth to consciousness. Consciousness gave birth to the universe. But what would that mean for you? If everything is conscious, does that mean even the air, the stone, and the flame have a kind of mind? Ancient philosophies thought so. They spoke of the soul of the world, the anima mundi, a living cosmos, breathing awareness through all forms of existence. Even modern physics echoes this idea in strange ways. The observer effect in quantum mechanics shows that the act of observing can change what is observed. Reality seems to respond to consciousness as if it were not a stage on which awareness performs, but a mirror reflecting awareness back to itself. And that's where the lines begin to blur, between science and spirit, matter and meaning, observer and observed. Maybe the universe is not a cold, indifferent void after all. Maybe it is an unfolding story of consciousness discovering itself through endless forms, through every birth and every death, through every dream and every awakening. When you close your eyes and think, you are not a tiny creature lost in space. You are the cosmos reflecting on its own existence. You are a moment of infinity realizing it is infinite. And perhaps that's what consciousness really is, the bridge between the physical and the eternal. Not something we possess, but something that possesses us. Some scientists believe consciousness is nothing more than computation, a biological algorithm evolved to ensure survival. But others, from ancient mystics to modern physicists, suggest something radical, that consciousness isn't produced by the brain, it's what creates the brain. Imagine reality not as a machine, but as a dream being dreamed by awareness itself. Matter, time, energy, all secondary. Consciousness, primary. This idea isn't new. The Upanishads of ancient India called it Brahman. Quantum physics hints at it too, where observation itself seems to alter reality. If the universe requires an observer to exist, then perhaps consciousness isn't inside the universe. Perhaps the universe is inside consciousness. Every thought, every sensation is a ripple in that infinite field of awareness. And you, the you behind your eyes, are a wave rising and falling within it. But then comes the question, if consciousness is universal, why does it feel so personal? Why do you feel you and not me? Maybe individuality is an illusion, a temporary pattern through which the infinite experiences itself, like drops of water forgetting they are the ocean. So what happens when the body dies? Does consciousness end, or does it simply change form, like a wave returning to the sea? Science cannot yet answer, and perhaps it never will, because consciousness might not be something we find, but something we are. To understand it fully, we may not need to look deeper into the brain, but deeper into ourselves. So what is consciousness? Is it the universe observing itself through human eyes, a trick of biology, or the one truth that transcends everything else? Comment below. What do you believe awareness truly is? A spark of matter, or the light behind all matter? Subscribe to the Heresy of Reason, because the greatest heresy is to think.